Good night. Tonight we have among us two gentlemen, Prakash Ramjatan and Raphael.
Put the mic a little closer to your mouth.
Okay. I was saying we have two gentlemen among us tonight, Raphael Trotman and Prakash Ramjatan. The meeting of these two gentlemen will prove to be very fortuitous in the history of Guyana. And latterly they were joined by Sheila Holder, who sadly is not with us here tonight, and we're praying for her recovery. I asked to be on this program tonight to discuss one aspect of Guyanese politics that is becoming a big sore. In my time in Guyana, we didn't have to deal with the level of fear that exists in Guyanese politics today. It's a sad reality on those who now exercise power, or whatever we call the exercise of power in Guyana at this time. It's a very sad reality that even here in Queens, New York, in the organizing of this function, in the reach out to members of the public to attend here tonight, Guyanese are scared. And that's the level of fear that I want to address. This should not be happening in Guyanese politics. We lived in Guyana. We struggled against the Burnham dictatorship. We made change. And we didn't have to deal with this level of fear existing in Guyana today. How are we going to deal with this issue? Look at these two gentlemen. Take an example. The union of the two of them have brought us to this stage here today, on the verge of taking over the government of Guyana. What I'm asking is, by their example, and those of us who struggled to make change in 1992, I myself volunteered to become the political organizer for the city of Georgetown when nobody in the PPP wanted that job. And when I was working in Georgetown, Prakash can tell you, when I used to be in the south of Georgetown working, the leadership was trembling at Freedom House. They wanted to know what I was doing in the south of Georgetown, what I was doing at 11 and 12 o'clock in the night. But that's the kind of work, when you don't have fear, when you don't exercise scaredness, you manage to convince people, you manage to make change. That is what these two gentlemen have demonstrated. And that's the example we here need to take back to our families in Guyana. Send a message. There is no need for fear. You know who should be afraid right now? You know who is scared right now? And that's why they're exercising this kind of, I will call it a genocide in itself. Those who exercise power in Guyana right now, they are scared. We have the upper hand. We're not asking everybody to be an activist, a militant on the ground. All we are asking is that you here, because you can't vote unless you go back and register now. All we are asking you is to identify your families, let them know they need to register, they need to exercise their vote. You don't have to be scared to do that. You have to be scared you're going to lose your job if you become a militant, if you become an activist on the ground, if you become a paid employee of the AFC. But the PPP, as the government of Guyana, is scared to hell. And they're scared of the AFC. And why are they scared? We represent simple things. We represent one, the truth. We represent two, a new ideology, liberal democracy. You all need to read a book by Thomas Paine on what liberal democracy means. It's a liberating ideology. And the AFC is working assiduously to replace the decadence of Marxism-Leninism under which we all grew up in our own times. It's a dead ideology. Liberal democracy is a living ideology. It will unleash, finally, the potential of Guyana. And it will liberate each and every one of us in our own minds. And that's where we need to kill fear. The fear unleashed in Guyana is very potent. People in power for 18 years and 28 years, they don't want to give up. Look what is happening in Egypt tonight. A man has been in power for 30 years. He doesn't understand how to give up that power. Millions of people are clamoring for him to go, but he does not understand how to give it up. That's what power does to people. It corrupts you absolutely. You have to liberate yourselves in your own minds so that you can help your families back home, your countrymen back home, to liberate themselves. And I'm appealing to you. Here in New York, we need not be afraid of the goons. They have little Rasputins walking around here in New York on behalf of the regime. And they're trying to drive that fear into us here. Well, I was not scared ever of them. I was not scared of Burnham. I had a job in the public service like everybody else. I was not scared. And once I demonstrated that, I was able to recruit from among my friends and among my countrymen and among softball cricketers and so on, and bring them on board. And eventually, we made the change of the mighty PNC. We can do that here too. We need to send the message to our families, send the message to the regime that we're not scared of them, and our families ought not to be scared of them. You see, the problem of a modern state like Guyana is when most of the people are employed by the state. They exercise that threat over you. You lose your job, you're in trouble. Thank you. So that is my message to you tonight. Let's exercise fear from our minds. Change is at hand. Thank you.